Continue. Quickly put your credentials inside it. And now we are going into the BAS. Today we will try to see a create operation on it. So once I reach over there, I'll just try asking if you remember the basic skeleton of it, right? That's it. So if it is pertaining to one field or two fields or many fields, still the same thing. So go into instances and subscriptions. And now you can just go to the SAP Business Application Studio. Okay, it's there. It will take some time to do that. In the meantime, just try to call up the processes those are involved in making a call to the backend. All right, just try calling up the things. I'll ask you in some time because when it will be required, what basic chunks are there in it that actually makes a call request. At the same time, let's go to SDK, and inside the SDK, we can go to samples, and samples, we can just get a simple form if possible. Simple form is there in the sample also, because it's got a lot many more properties also inside it. So the simple thing. So this is how it will look like, simple form, but then let me just go inside the code. And if you see, where is the code for it? You see so many of these things are there. Editable layout, label, span, Excel, extra large, those kind of things. Worked on these things long back, but you normally forget things unless it comes to you when it's required. So what we will do is that we'll take these things for convenience, all of the simple form. You see, there are so many properties associated to the simple form besides the editable. That's true. You've got layout, title, and no, that actually places your form to a right position where it should be. So some sort of that thing is there. And the most important part that we are interested in is label and input. And more inputs are there, more label are there, and there is a select. There's a select also, you can see that we did in the UI. So that's also there. So in the meantime, I think it's up and running now. So quickly, and this is connected to my server. Okay, so let me just also log into the server with the credentials. And I need to just pass I can also check if it's correct or not, and it is. Okay. So this is the remote desktop, and I can just go to the transaction code. Once again, I need to log in. And this thing with S23 HANA 3 and welcome Matt. Enter. And let me just take you to SE11. And here is the type Z. I think this is the table. You can just display the table. And you can just go to utilities over here. And to the table content, you can see there is a display. And I came to so once you click this clock, you will get the records. Those are there in it. So it only consists of two fields, customer ID and customer name. With these many, I think this is an integer. The data type is integer, and this is what the customer name I tried to just try to enter it. Now, with two fields over here, I'll try to make a call from the, now it's connected, my backend is connected to the to the BAS SAP BTP through the, you see the cloud connector is connected now, and the destination, as just for recapitulation, you can see I've got two destinations over here. One is SND1 and another one is the ES5 server that I have. So this is the one that I've been using, and now I'll straight away go to BAS. In that, I'll just go and try to make a new project and from template. So just quickly, I'll go over there and make a project. The same thing that you'd be doing, making a project, and you should also be trying to make OData based projects from your LS4. So same thing that I'm doing over here, you'll be doing the way you don't keep some preoccupied things in your mind, that the way you worked with the ES5, in the same way you will work with your LS4 server, right? So go over there. Instead of choosing ES5 this time, I'll choose the LS4. I'm sorry, SND1. I'll go to the basic and go to next. Here's the point where you need to check on which one do you want to choose from the data sources. I'll go with these connect to a system, and let me make it a bigger view, and then you see the options are there, and I'm going to go for SND1. In your case, you will be checking on with the LS4 or checking in with the LS4. And unfortunately, I have to type in username and password. The reason being that in your case, you won't be doing that. The reason is that in the destination of SND1, if you come and check, there is, I haven't put the credentials over here, right? If we had put, I wouldn't have to take the pain of doing it. So S23 is here. You put your backend connection detail. S23 HANA, you saw that. And then I'm going to put my password over here. So the password will be, this is the password. I just randomly type very fast. I don't know if it'll work or not. So I just did that, and it's trying to authenticate me. And it says the authentication is incorrect because S23 HANA was the one. Enter it again. And yep, the things are there. So now finally my OData services are there in it, in this much the same way you're going to do with the LS4. I'll just try to get the Z Dan something. No, Z third. Okay. So this is the OData service that I have to consume. And I'm going to click next. And the viewer name would be customer. Customer. That's customer is okay. And go for next now. And then you come with the project one. The thing that's visible over here, that's the project's name, module name. So I'll make it as B12 create method. Okay. So bash 12 create method we are doing. Okay. And here I'll just pass in some application title. That would be customer detail. One mistake. and that would be app. And it is, of course, inside the projects folder. So that's an important thing. Let me make it a bit more smaller so that you can have a full view of it. So it's app, customer detail, and it should be inside the projects folder, not in, no, not in somebody else's project. Okay, then go for add deployment configuration FLP, and then I will go next. Although the semantic object that I provide over here uh, doesn't make much of a sense as I've seen, because at the end you have to provide the semantic object in the build work zone also. So here it is this is the name, the virtual name that is present in the destination, not your original name, virtual name. One who makes the cloud connection. It provides the virtual name on top of your host name. So here you need to provide the username, and that is again, what is that? S23 HANA 3. And the password over here is that you're going to put is the password that is there with your LS4. You don't have to do that, presumably, because it is already set at the destination level. So, but I didn't do that. So I'm taking the pain of doing it again and again. Now over here, I'll just pass the password. And I provided it, and it's asking me to just log in to my on-prem. And it says the destination is using a virtual host. And okay, it's actually a BOP. I had to do Cloud Foundry and I did a BOP. So that was a mistake I did. So I'll just go with Cloud Foundry. And now with the go next application route, as I was saying, it is customer, the semantic object, and the action. The semantic object and the action, in combination, actually points to your particular app. Semantic object and action points to your particular app. So when you hit on the tile, these semantic object and action are called, because they ask in the interview, what's the use of semantic object and action, right? And 99% they'll ask you this thing, action. So I'll say create. So what's the use of it? The combination of two, that's called as intent. When you click on a tile, these things are called customer and the create. The title that you provide is customer. And I just provide the title customer, and after that, there is a section that's called as subtitle. The subtitle would be for customer detail. So this is what I have right now, and we are nearly done. And I'm going to hit finish now. But come. All right, so you see, just added a customer and customer detail, and the semantic object and action that's there in it. I'll just hit finish. So now it's going to load all the dependencies. Those are required in it. And basically, it reads the package.json file and tries to load the dependencies that you need. And let me just make it a bit bigger also and remove this thing. Now let me just straight away go to the project that I've created right now. New project, open folder, and you will see that you type P and you get projects. And then you go inside the one that I just created, and it's the, which one? This one? B12, okay. So many 12s are there. Okay, let me hit OK now. This is the one I want to open. From here, we will directly go to a place that is called as manifest.json. Go to the web app folder and go to the manifest.json folder. Here you would see that before, if you were not connected to any kind of on-prem, then this particular entry that you see over here will not be found. All right, data source. This particular entry that you see is not found. Let's say you are connected to two OData services, then you will have two of these things over there pointing to your particular OData service, which you see right now. This is the first OData service. So you need to just know that there is an OData service over here. Another point that you need to look at is this part. Go straight down to the models part, okay? In the model section, you see there is your model, I18N, which you don't have to make, that we made it in our project in Web IDE specifically. Here it is already made for you. You don't have to take the burden of making it. So you can just write anything on the I18 file or in the I18 file, and it will just get reflected. This is a default model that you have over here. That's the OData model that we are using. This is the OData model. The type is SAP UI model, OData model. So I'm just this time not putting the type and like this. I'm not putting the something like type and passing SAP UI. Let's see whether it works or not. Okay, so let me just do a Control Z. Done it. So let be the way it is. And here are the points that we need to, we will come after some time, the routing part in the other video that we will make. Here is the routes and the targets. These are the two things you have to actually construct for each of the views. The routes and targets for each of the views, you have to construct routes and targets. Routes and targets. If you do not know anything in it, except for the fact that you know there is your data service, you don't have to even take care of what it tells, but then you only need to see there is something like data source over here. You don't know what other things are. And if you know to come to this point, the routing configuration, inside that, there are things called as routes and targets. So if you make another route and another target, that means you make another view object inside it. Okay, if you make another, let's say you have got three views, then you're going to make another route and a target. This is what you have to focus on. If you don't want to focus on other things, no problem. You can also see the root view over here that's there, and it is pointing to the app. If you just try to understand this thing, like the app is actually holding the views over here now, rather than specifically we adding the views in the app controller. So everything is done over here, but you don't have to construct anything over here now. Just focus on routes and targets, which we'll do, not now, but later today. So the only thing I wanted to bring a notice to is this OData service that got automatically generated over here in this section that is called as data source. And a model also got created over here in the model section. That two things right now, focus on that in these two things. Now just cancel the thing out and let's go into the view one section and inside the customer view XML. All right, and you see normal view the way it looks like, and you can just go ahead and delete the content from here and add this thing so that you can make it a proper content in which you want to write things. I think content is default. Even if you don't write, it doesn't matter. But then since it's there, it is good. And in the app view section, you see there is, what do you see? App control only. The app control that we made, remember? Nothing. And this thing consists of page. That means that app is holding the page. But how is this thing happening? If you go to the controller of the app view, you won't find anything written over here. Nothing. That means the way we added the control of the control, and inside the control, the app control, inside the control, we added the objects of views. Here you don't see anything, all right? So no problem, because it's done by, taken care of by the manifest.json. Okay, so not required right now. And the only thing that we are concerned right now is the view. And when we went to the SDK, we found something, a template or a sample that is already made for us, we can directly copy this sample from where I got it from the sample simple form. And I'll just paste it over here and start removing things from here because I don't need the things. So I need a simple input label, and done for us. Mm, I I think I have not copied the right stuff. Let me just go and take the full thing from here. See, I just missed out the simple form. You need to be very careful where you take the things from. I can even take the things from VBox, vertical box. Inside that, I'm just taking a simple form. I'm just taking all of it and pasting it inside this thing. After that, I'm just going to remove the things that I don't need. I don't need a select box over there that we did. And I just need a label and an input. So label input done, and just remove everything from here now. No label input required. So just one label and input. Now see, it's like, okay now. An ID name, and let me just pass another ID over here. ID over here, and I'll call that ID as ID ID name. ID name, and this I'll call that as ID1 because that's the ID that we need. Okay, you saw this thing. You saw what we need is ID and a customer name, customer ID, customer name. So we need only two labels over here and the two input fields that we will make. This thing is not required. The client one is not required. Always there. So it will automatically pick it up. So two labels, those are there, and I've got the name and everything is cool over here. I think. Okay, these values that you see that we also don't need anything. Okay, it's asking me to remove because there are so many projects in it, and that might then meddle with our project. I don't know. Let me just try doing it. Now, since our input and those things are ready, and there's a name and label is the text and number over here. This would be the customer cust name. Okay. Now, let me also do one more thing. Rather than doing this, I'll just do an I18N and use this thing, okay? What have I done? I18N with this thing. So now I'm passing this customer name to the I18 file, double clicking on it, enter, paste it, and now here put equals and write customer name. Customer name. So that's going to take customer name. And for the other one, that's the name over here would be inside the curly brace, and it would be I I18N. So you can just think of it right now, I18N, and that would be cust ID. Yeah, correct. Cust ID. I'm going to take that cust ID, copy it, go to the I18 folder file, and first paste cust ID, and then I'll write equivalence for it. That is customer and ID. Okay, so this is what I've added. The same thing for the way I did for the first label, I did that with the second label. And here there are a couple of mistakes that you can see. Okay, so it looks cool now for the input. And there is street and those things over here. We don't want any values because we are posting things. We are not like fetching any value from it. So simply we need to have IDs for the input field, and our job is done now. Let me just go and run this piece of code. In order to run this piece of code, a simple form that consists of um, two labels and two input fields. It says three problems are there. No problem ID we have not given it. And output and terminal. And the name of the product should come over here. Otherwise, you will do a mistake. And here I'll do directly first npm. What's the command for it? Good. Npm start. And it said it can't run. So then we'll go and hit the manifest.json file. And sometimes without the, going to package.json file, it runs sometimes. Okay. So don't think that, yeah, see, it shows 7 problems now. So I'm going to fix the problems by clicking on any of the thing and fix all dependency issues. And then we'll go to the terminal once again and try to run the same command, npm start. Run. Good, thank you. You underwent such a problem so many times that you know what the problem is. Sometimes see, didn't I tell you it doesn't follow a straight path? What it does is that, sometimes it does not even need to install the dependencies. It will run in one go without the package.json installation. The other time, it will ask you to do an installation of the required dependencies, and then it will, if you do run the command npm start, it will run. And sometimes it won't even run that way too. So now if you come to this part of the page, you will see that it automatically comes to the app title and runs the app. And here it's asking me to provide the credential and sign in. And there is sort of, I don't know, a problem or something that two things did not come because we did a lot of stuff. And let's see. Okay, I know what the mistake is, but unfortunately, we did not take care of that mistake. And the mistake is that we are using a simple form without its library. And it is f equals s. Do you remember the name of the library? sap.ui form, correct. So see, now I think it's going to see it's refreshing on its own, and now possibly it's going to load it. Good. Now it's loaded it, but unfortunately we don't have a button over here, and the okay, we'll check out the things later. First, we need to go to the part we did not add a button, and at the bottom we're going to add a button, and we call that button as text equals. Okay, why have I put that in the curly braces? Because I want to submit. And let's take this submit and go to I18 and press enter over here and write on, not on, submit employee detail, a big name to the button just to make sure that Everything looks understandable and makes sense too. So you see, my submit employee detail comes with the quotation as well. And why is that thing taking a quotation? Okay, unfortunately, I passed quotation also over here, which I should not have done it. Now, it will just process itself to give the right stuff. Okay, the submit employee detail has now come. Now here, if I type something, all right, and if I submit, like let's say let's say I put 299, 293, and let's say some name over here, Pooja, and then I submit employee detail over here, then this thing will go and sit in the backend, right? For that, I have to make a backend create call, all right? All right? Now, you have to tell me, let me just stop the recording for a while. So now we're going to go into BAS. And here we have got supply employee data. I'm going to go to the button part and do a press because button has got an event name called as press on submit press. Okay, I'm copying this thing, and now I will go to the place that is called as a controller of this. We don't need on in it, and also we just need to go a bit down and make the screen clear. Here we're going to pass something like this on submit press. Okay, inside I'll write a function. This is how you write things, and then you make a curly brace and part it right up to this point. Here we're going to write our first, second, third thing. So let me just jot it down. First thing. First thing. Get the model object from the manifest. Odata model object from manifest. The first thing that you have to do. All right. So let me just do the first thing first. First thing first. Okay. O model equals the API, please. This memorize it. Dot. Okay. And what's the name of the model? Nothing. We have not provided any name to the model. Of course, it is the OData model, but we have not provided any name to it. Okay. Okay. The second thing is like prepare the entity. So okay, let. Okay, when you're working in BAS, instead of var, use let. Okay. This is the modern ES5, ES6 rules. Don't use var, use let. Understand? Let and const. Use let. Let what now? Entity. Just entity is a variable. I can say ABC, but it's just a variable. And that would be our slash. How do I know what my entity set is? So I'll go to the local service over here. This is where my metadata is stored. Every time when you do that, the moment you connect it to some server, a local service folder comes over here. Inside that, you will get the metadata. And here, if you go, you will find that inside the entity container, you get the customer set. So you will be having, if you have got more entity sets in it, you will get the list of all the entity sets. I've got one, so I'm getting one. I'll copy it and go back to the code and here and done. My entity is created. Now it's time. Now it's time to do what? Can you tell me? Prepare what? Prepare the payload, right? Now, somebody can somebody guide me what to do that over here? Let. Okay, we are supposed to pay the payload. How shall I move ahead from here? First, you need to get the. Just don't beat about the bush. Prepare the payload. So where's the payload? Tell me, where's the payload? Where's the payload? This the something that was there in the simple form was the payload, right? You want to get that 290, whatever the value was, and puja from that, right? This is what we wanted to get. Remember? How will you get that? So, so let, yeah. So first, let O INPT name. First input name. Oh, sorry, ID equals this dot. Tell me this dot. Get view first. The view will get you the value. Get view dot by ID. Okay, just only get the object first, object of the input field. Later on, we'll fetch other things. I'm just copying this thing, Control C, and going over there, and another Control C, and this time I'll call that as O INPT name. Okay, object of the name input field. Okay, and now I'm going to go to the customer and get me the ID1 for the first input field. I'll pass over here in quotes. I'll go back and get the another ID and pass that inside the. Do not try to type it again. I'm saying. Now, let me get the value also now in another one. Let S ID equals O IN O input O input ID. Dot get value and let string name equals O input name dot get value. Okay, the two things will get the value from the input fields that I have. All right. Now let's go again to, let me just create the payload. Okay, now let payload equals. All right. So let me just get the two fields name that is exactly written in the table. So you'll see it's customer ID. I'm exactly copying it from there, putting it. I'll go again to the metadata and use the customer name and copy it and paste to the bottom. I know there are errors now. Let me just now get away with the errors for a while. So this is how it is. And there's a comma. All right. All right. Now here the customer ID is holding this SID, right? So you can't put the quotes over here, all right? Because it's already been defined. Copy, Control C, Control V. Remove this thing from here and copy name and paste it. My payload is ready. Now 3 parameters I have to pass over there. Remember the final thing that we're going to do? In the process, I just forgot where my curly brace is. It's sometimes where I've started a curly brace. Okay, this is the, okay, here, which is why I make a big partition so that I do not end up writing or do something. So there's enough space now. Now, what's the name of thing? You need to call the model. This model, where? So let me just write something over here, which I can call as operation. Or you can call as query or do CRUD, whatever you're doing. So this is what we have to do now. do the operation now. So first you will call your model, O model, and you see this thing is there, O model, where? Here, O model, the odata model. After which I'm going to pass dot create. All right, create. This is the method name for creating. And this bracket, right? Now it's going to consist of three things now, right? The first thing will be entity, comma, payload, comma, and there is more things, success and error. So there are more things, which is why I used a curly brace. They're part of one thing, which is why they have been passed in success and error. So first I'll write success with the function, and you know how to complete a function, comma, and the next thing is the error. If I keep using it, blindly, then it's going to put its own code inside it. Error. I won't take a help of this thing. Error. Function. And this thing. Done it? Okay. Now part it. Now part it. Done it? Now pass the parameter, odata, and the other one as response. We'll try to log in also response. Make it response if we want to pass. It's just a parameter I'm passing over there. You can pass some other thing. AB also will work over there. And here I'll be passing error, and thus my job is done now. Okay. Now, if the thing is successful, I need to check. See, I don't even know what to do now, so I'll just stop over here. See, after this. And now we will go to the code over here, and let's try to check if it is somewhere reaching to the console or not. So let me just console something, console.log response. I want to console the response. The next one is important for me. And here I want to console the error. Console log the error. All right, done it. See the structure. The structure is clear to you, yes or no? Okay. So this is how we started. 1, 2, 3, 4, done. Now let's go to the page over here, and since it automatically refreshes everything, we don't have to take the burden of doing anything at all. Okay, go to the sources now, and we need to hit some breakpoints over there. So double click on it, customer control here, go to the submit, and it will just go on. But if you want to hit the success, you have to specifically put a breakpoint on success and error. Okay, otherwise it won't hit it. Done it. I'll let you pass some customer ID over here. Let's say 229. And it was Pooja that I wanted to make an entry of. And now I'm going to hit this thing, submit employee detail. All right. First thing, it went to the model. And let's see, it's fetching. Yeah, I don't even care what's fetching. So at the bottom, if you come, you will see that it's really fetching SAP UI, this thing, service. Okay. And then this the entity set name, customer set. So, yep, it's holding this now for us. And then I want to know whether it's getting me the object of the input field. So this thing, okay, fine. Something comes. Yep, it's getting me. The next field, something is written. That means it's getting me the object. Is it getting me the value or not? This is not the concern. Yep, it's getting me 229. You see that? This is what it's present over here. And it's also getting me Pooja over here. So my customer ID is not going to hold 229. Customer name is going to hold Pooja over here. That you will see. Okay, in the entity. You see that? SID 229, S name Pooja, and this is what customer ID is holding and customer name is holding. So my payload is ready. You can see that over here, right? Now we come to the operation part, modular create, and now if it is going to hit the success over here, that means our operation is done. Now you can write more codes inside it by throwing how you're going to throw the error or response to it. So I'm just going to hit the play button because it's going to take a round trip and then come back to it takes time. So if I just do this, see it goes over there and there's a lot of stuff. And now I'm just going to hit it. And it goes into success. And since it's showing success, that means my data has been put inside the table. So in order to know that, we have to go to the backend and see if the data is there or not. Here was the thing, and here's the table. Do you see the thing? Puja over here in the list. So you have to hit this refresh. And you see Puja is added over here. This way you can add, Puja is so happy. Come on. Okay, so now we're going to, so you got the point how easy it is to actually make a create. Now, if you, once again, let's go to the controller and let's run this piece of code again. And where? Just hit the thing once again. And it's going to take the data, of course, get value, and goes to the payload and create, comes over here. And again, it goes over there to success. That means it's not being handled in the back in a right way, okay? Okay, let's take the response from here. If the status code is 201, so then you can pass a message, sap.m.messagebox. So I can just go ahead and make a notepad of it with a new one. Okay, this is enough. Just keep it over there. Let's take the response. Let's say odata is having these payload inside it. This is the one odata, customer name and these things. And now response is this. I'm actually worried with the worried about the response. So let's go and say if my response dot, I don't know what to write, so I'll just hold on over here and say status code. Alt tab and write. Status code equals what? Okay, see, it says 201, I'm sorry. Take 201 and Alt tab and paste over here so that it will be easy for me to write the code. Okay. It's okay. Now 201, we can just go ahead and say that correct. Say sap.m. message box show, okay, show, and say response dot. Let's see what's there in the response. Status text. And that is actually holding created. Yeah, this is what you're going to see in the thing. There's a problem over here. Okay. And I can also put a message.box over here too for the error. So let's get first this thing and see if it's working or not. Okay. So save it. And now I'm going to just copy this piece of code and go to this part of and just paste it. If response is status is 201, do this thing. Response.status text. Instead of it, you can simply hard code something like this. Created, done. Okay, even hard code with your own message that you want to send to the user. And now we just need to go away from here. And did we miss something? Okay, no, we did not miss anything. Let's come over here and cancel it. Let's make a new entry right now. And we will take the new entry as 22230. Okay. Now, let's go and hit the submit button. Okay, created, you see? It's showing a pop-up that shows it's created. And now what you can do is that if you don't believe, go and come and check over here. Just to tell you how I reached over here, in case you don't know, just come to the /n, refresh the thing. Now do a /n SE11. That's your data dictionary. Come to your table. If you know your name of the table, then you can just put display. After displaying, there is an option utilities on the top. Just go to table contents, hit it, display, and do nothing. Just come over here because it's asked you to put some filter from which date to what and what ID you want. And do this thing, and you see with the ID 230, Chitra is there, a new customer now. Okay. Now I can just come over here and press OK. But the problem is once the data is submitted, you see the data still persists over there. That should not be the case. It should go away, right? So come over here to the bottom part of the page. If it shows that my data is a success, do one more thing, please. What thing I want to be done is get me the value, this what SID and its name. Okay. So I'll just say oInput.getValue. I'll pass over here. oInput.getValue. I'll pass over here. Okay, passed. Wrote it over here. And I'll just pass a null value over there. It means nothing over there. Right? So now, once it shows the success response, and after that, the code is going to run and further delete the data from the input field. So let me just come to the customer detail now. And once again, try to check it, what it shows. And if you come over here and let's make it 231, a new request, and customer name, Kirti. I wanted to write Chitrashri Champakala, but then Kirti came in. Okay, Kirti, let's see what happens. Submit. The process, okay. And it did not work. See, somebody's taking good watch of it. Set value. Controls. Set value. Now the new person is going to come now. And now we're going to just make the set value over here. Customer ID is 232 Champa. Submit. And you see that the thing is gone for new entry to make, all right? So this is how you can make a post call. And Champakala is also interested in seeing whether she came over here or not. And Champakala is here. Congratulations. Okay, so we stop the thing over here for now.